Alrighty here. I don't know how I feel about this story. This has mixed feelings. Part of it pisses me off. Part of it, this is a terrible story on multiple factors. There's also a feel good story within this story of people coming together to help our fallen soldiers, our fallen brothers and sisters that paid the ultimate price when our politicians send them to war. Now, of course, this is from Fox News. Family forced to pay to ship body of Marine killed after Pentagon policy change. Outrageous injustice. But here's the good part. Here's the silver lining. Nonprofit stepped up to pay $60,000 to move Sergeant Nicole Gee's remains to Arlington National Cemetery. That is the silver lining. That is the feel-good story. Republican lawmakers sounded the alarm after being notified that one of the 13 Gold Star families from the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan was forced to pay to move the body of their loved one. Rep. Corey Mills, Republican Florida, who is an Army veteran, told Fox News Digital that during a meeting with families of the fallen 13 last week, he was enraged to learn that the Department of Defense placed a heavy financial burden on the family of the Marine Corps Sergeant Nicole Lee Glee, who were forced to find funding in the thousands to move her body to the final resting place after her 2021 death in Afghanistan. Add insult to injury. Hey, we got your daughter killed. Now pay for the fee to move the body. I want to know if there's more to the story. I don't think Fox goes into it. Lee family secured the funding, which came to a staggering $60,000 to move their loved ones after a nonprofit organization stepped up to cover the costs. Mills said. According to Mills' office, the option for the Defense Department to decline to pay for the transportation of the body was made possible by the amendment of last year's National Defense Authorization Act. How did that get through Congress? How did this get through Congress? Seems like our Congress people making the laws, passing bills, don't read the freaking bills that they're voting for. It's a disgrace. Which states that the Secretary of Defense may provide a fallen service members next of kin a commercial air travel use waiver for the transportation of the deceased remains military member who dies inside the theater of combat operations. Let's see here. May provide a fallen service member next of kin a commercial air travel use waiver for transportation of the deceased remains of a military member who dies inside a theater of combat operations. That should have been top priority. We could send millions of freaking dollars to Ukraine, a war that's not even ours, but it really is ours. But we can't fund $60,000 to make sure that our fallen soldiers are respected. It's disheartening. It's disgusting, disgraceful. And the Pentagon wonders why recruitment is low. Gee's remains were initially flown to your hometown of Roosevelt, California for a ceremony. Maybe this is the part of the story that I'm missing. But the responsibility for transportation of Glee to her final resting place at Arlington National Cemetery will fall on the family. Honoring our fallen, a nonprofit dedicated to assisting the families of a fallen American service member, stepped up to help the family move Glee via private jet to Virginia. I mean, it's the least we could do. It's the least we could do to at least honor and respect our fallen soldiers with the ultimate sacrifice. I mean, it's not like that they were transporting it throughout the whole country, even though that probably would have been better for the people to show their respect to someone that gave up their ultimate life, sacrificed everything for the freedom of our country. But Mills says the responsibility should fall on the Defense Department, not to burden the families of fallen heroes. Typically, our fallen heroes are flown back home for a solemn service and then laid to the final rest at Arlington Cemetery with the utmost respect and honor. Mills said it is a egregious injustice that the grieving family were burdened on the shoulders of the financial strain of honoring their loved ones. This is an unacceptable situation that demands immediate rectification. Pentagon did not immediately respond to Fox News' request for comment. So according to Representative Mills, your body gets sent home, then it gets sent to Arlington on the government's dime, which is the taxpayers' dime. I get it's our money. But yeah, we could send billions on billions and billions of dollars to Ukraine, but we cannot honor the 13 people that have died. And we have to burden the families with undue costs. You wonder why recruitment's down. Let's read some of these comments. As a retired naval officer, I am applauded and disgusted that this family was placed in this position. This was a disgrace, and those responsible should and be held accountable. Our Marines and all in uniform have earned and deserve far better treatment, as do their family as well. True to my word, and out of respect to the United States Marine Corps, I have established a monthly donation in honoring our fallen foundation. May God help this nation and protect and bless our armed forces. Meanwhile, Carrie, Pete, and others fly all over the world without a bat of an eyelash when a Zoom call can get the job done. As far as I'm concerned, when a warrior puts their life on the line for this country, they should be entitled to more benefits than a free transportation or free transport and the burial of their body. Rather, while they were alive, they should have get free health care for life upon honorable discharge, as well as other helpful benefits which assist with these brave men and women so they can progress in their own civilian lives. 100% agree with your sentiment. If Congress gets a retirement for the rest of their life and better benefits like free health care for the rest of their life, then men and women who serve our country are entitled to do the same. Regardless, Congress gets a benefit only serving one term, which is a 2-year term for the House of Representatives, 6-year term for the Senate, and a 4-year term for the President and Vice President. Congress does not deserve the benefit at all. Just a reminder, if you served 20 years in the military, you were promised free health care for life. That changed several years ago with TRICARE. Now you have to pay a premium for health care after serving for 20 plus. You can thank John McCain, who was the sponsor of that bill. Trump was right again. Of course, John McCain was a decorated Vietnam veteran who suffered years of imprisonment in a Vietnam prison camp. Please cite your reference for the claim that he sponsored a bill that replaced campus with TRICARE. I don't know if that's true or not. I mean, I do know that we get benefits We do get a pension if we serve 20 years. I did not serve 20 years. When I came in, I was told it would be free while I served and for the rest of my life if I did 20 years and I retired, but that was a lie. You may have been told that, but the government never put it in writing, did they? You and I both know the answer. I wouldn't trade my Medicare TRICARE insurance for the best commercial policy you could find. Insult to injury. There's no honor with the Pentagon nor this administration. It's not easy to be placed at the Arlington Cemetery, and even think that the family had to pay for this move is unbelievable. Kudos to the organizations who assisted. Shame on our government. Is it any wonder that the recruiting goals are not being met? There's no respect between this administration and the men and women who serve, specifically gave all. That includes Congress. Congress doesn't give two shits about our military. They're just toy soldiers sent to fight their wars so they could line their pockets with profits from companies that make our weapons. They did pay for the transportation back to America where they had the service. This is the second transportation. Not sure why it would cost $60K. That something is fishy there. If the decision was made to lay her to rest at Arlington, it certainly should include the cost to get her there, get her remains there, plus transportation, all accommodations for the family to attend the interment. Transport to the Arlington Cemetery should never require the family to pay. Never. I mean, I do want to know why it costs $60,000. Is it because of refrigerant? Make sure that body doesn't start decomposing. If only she had refused to stand for the national anthem and openly spewed hate for the country, openly declared her alphabet, gotten caught smuggling drugs in a foreign country, and even admitted guilt. She just didn't embarrass the... I have no clue what the hell that is, to be honest. Unbelievable. I know the Pentagon is more important to fund. I'm not reading that. Bring back memories when our fallen heroes were being unloaded after the flight from Afghanistan, during which the old Joe was more concerned and interested in checking the time on his watch and giving the total undivided attention and respect to our fallen troops. Every day I'm more sick and disgusted of what he gave in Washington, D.C. that is now running our country. You know, if I was Biden, and that's a big if I was Biden, let's say if I was in the position of Biden and I was responsible to see those 13 service members, I would look at my watch between every casket that moved by, not out of respect, but out of shame. And the first things out of my mouth would be, I want to acknowledge I was looking at my watch from every member, every casket, not out of disrespect, but out of the shame I brought to you, and a reminder that 13 soldiers died on my watch. That would have gone over a lot better than talking about your dead son. I'm sorry your son is dead, but that happened in the past. It is time to mourn the recent death. I would take accountability for their deaths, saying my decisions led to these 13 members dying, and they died on my watch. And that's why I looked at my watch on every time a casket rolled by. But he didn't do that. He did not do that. Yet this crime spree of his administration still thinks rank and file troops and non-com will still respect the civilian leadership of our armed forces when those in power choose to turn against the taxpayer. I'm liking my odds here. and they wonder why enlistment numbers are down. As a veteran, I too have been a victim to DoD's failure to repay legitimate expenses incurred at my service. When it comes to the swamp, the government seems to have deep pockets, but when it comes to taking care of those who serve in the military, all expenses and carefully monitored and purses are held tight. God bless Sergeant Glee, or Gee, I should say. Disgusting. It's freaking disgusting. We could send Hunter Biden on business deals on the taxpayer's dime, but we cannot pay $60,000 to transport a Marine that lost her life in a theater of combat. A sergeant who gave the ultimate sacrifice. We can't pay for her funeral, all expenses, but yet we can send billions of dollars to Ukraine so they could fight a war against Russia that we started. Disgusting. Anyways, that's my video for today. I could go on and on and on, but this video is already 17 minutes, 60 minutes long. That being said, have yourself a wonderful day, morning, and evening.